And we're live.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To The Point with
Skip.
and the King. I think you guys know where to find us by now. You can find Simon Broder running the point, simonbroder.com, Amazon. You can find it on there too. Make sure you guys go check that out. It's a great book. It's a great read. Skip, I got a song for you.
All right, hit me.
Welcome to the bubble. We got basketball games. There's a lot to talk about, just not LeBron James. It's the bubble. Welcome to the bubble.
All right. I dig the reference. I don't know about your singing voice, but I dig the reference. Yeah. All right. I can live with that.
I try sometimes. I try. So, Skipper, speaking of the bubble, because the NBA it's unprecedented right now what they're doing with sports by keeping all the players, all the workers, everybody that needs to earn a paycheck in a bubble and still providing us, the fans, with some entertainment. I just don't like the sound of the crowd cheering. That's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta ask you a question though. How do you feel about this now that we're in the whole pandemic and this is what we have to do and this is how we have to play it? How do you feel about this going on right now for what you're witnessing in the NBA?
Well, I mean, I'll admit I was a little skeptical at first. Going in when they first started talking about this, I was like, "Well, what is this? This is not the NBA. This is its own thing." But as we've gone on and we've seen all the preparation that the NBA put into this, how strictly they've enforced the protocols, how much they've really created a bubble environment, and then the NBA has started up right as baseball's been starting up, and we've seen baseball didn't do any of the same things, and baseball is basically just falling flat on their face right now. I mean, you got teams that have played like 12 games and teams that have played like 5 games because
and they have to cancel series.
Whole teams are going down with the coronavirus. The Miami Marlins are basically a waiver wire team now because all their players tested positive for coronavirus. Massive outbreak. So you look at what baseball did and you look at what basketball did, and it's hard not to appreciate the NBA bubble. It's been some pretty good basketball. I think it's been a little overstated so far because I think a lot of teams are now that we're 5-6 games into it, a lot of teams are treating it like summer league. And there's a lot of running the floor. There's a lot of not playing a whole lot of defense. But we've seen some really good games. We've seen the NBA come back in some semblance. The real test will be obviously when the first round starts in about a week. I think it's about a week.
Couple days. About a week.
Probably about a week. The real test will be when the first round starts, if teams are really able to ratchet up and bring that playoff intensity, bring that hard-nosed defense that we saw out of the Raptors in their first couple of games. But the bubble's been interesting. I don't know if you've been following the race for the 8th seed in the West. It's getting pretty spicy.
Memphis
is dying over there.
Portland, and obviously Phoenix. But go on.
And San Antonio's right there after they win today. I just checked the standings. One game separates those 4 teams with only, I think, 2 games left for most of them. So it'd be really exciting down the stretch. It sort of looks like Memphis is going to hang on to that 8th spot because they had the lead, but the way they've been playing, I think I'd rather see Phoenix and Portland in that game as the 8-9 seeds. That'd be really interesting. You got Phoenix just kind of coming into their own. I remember actually in the seeding game, in the practice games, the Raptors beat Houston and they beat Portland, and then they lost to Phoenix, and everyone's like, why did you lose to Phoenix? Phoenix is terrible. But it turns out Phoenix actually isn't terrible because they have not lost a game in the bubble.
I'd love to see Phoenix. I'd love to see Phoenix take the 8th spot, but I'd more prefer to see Portland take the 8th spot because they're going to face the Lakers.
Yeah, you got Lillard, and he's actually got big men now. It'll be fun. Yeah. So how do you actually see that shaking out?
With the bubble right now?
No, the 8th seed.
The 8th seed? Well, with the 8th seed, like I just said, I'd rather see Portland take it. I think they have a better chance, but the way Phoenix and Devin Booker has been playing has been absolutely phenomenal. It's something that we haven't seen in years.
Yeah, it's nice.
Just the way he's like lights out, it's really cool to see the way they're playing out because, like Dame Lillard said, his quote was, I'm just paraphrasing, that now the guys are stuck in the bubble. All you got to think about is ball. That's it. That's all you got to think about. And then, just to see the way he's been playing, Devin Booker's been playing, it's been absolutely phenomenal just to witness.
Yeah, well, that actually brings me back to the Raptors. Since this is a Raptors podcast, we got to talk Raps. But
can I say something about the Raptors in the bubble?
Yeah, go for it.
May I? Am I good to go?
Yeah, go off, man. Go off.
This is stupid. Okay? The Raptors have been set up with the toughest schedule in this bubble of the 8 games. It's absolutely horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. When you look at the teams they're playing, they're averaging 62.7 win percentage. Okay? You look at a team like the Lakers where they're pushing LeBron at 42 or 43% winning percentage of the teams they're going to play. This is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely horrible. The media does not want it. The NBA does not want the Raptors to win again. We all know here in Toronto that the Raptors are quite possibly the best team this year. Some might argue Milwaukee. Some might argue another team. But are you kidding me? Look at the facts. Look at what we're based on. Look at everything that is going on. Skip, I'm absolutely appalled. I am happy that the Raptors are 5-1 right now, currently, as we speak.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say.
Now, that's what I want to ask you right now. What do you think it took for the Raptors to get to 5-1? Because right now, as we speak, they're one game ahead of where they were last year at this current point in time when it comes down to scheduled games.
Yeah, well, I think it's the exact same thing you said with Phoenix. I think the Raptors, because they had to sort of go to Canada, quarantine together in Canada, go to Naples, Florida, quarantine together in Naples, Florida, I think they were able to just come together and focus on basketball and focus on, for lack of a better word, team building, as sort of these people who all work together. I think it's been a great situation. I mean, it certainly doesn't help that they were already there in the finals last year, so they already have a lot of that quote unquote chemistry. So yeah, I think they came into this bubble and they said, yeah, we got the toughest schedule, but who cares? Like, we're good. We're going to beat most of these teams anyway. And frankly, it doesn't matter because we knew going in they were going to be the 2 seed, unless they really stank the bed. And yeah, they've taken care of business. Milwaukee's taking care of business. Milwaukee hasn't actually taken care of business, but they've been gifted the 1 seed because they were already so many games up. So nothing's really changed, and now we have our playoff matchup set, and we can watch basically Summer League ball for 2 more games. Actually, no, Summer League ball for 2 more games plus the first round, which the Raptors are going to win in 4.
But Skip, what do you think about the Raptors recently after these last 6 games? Like, they played a couple good teams. They've played only 2 8-seed teams. The other teams they've played have all been top 4 in their respective conference so far. How do you think they've managed this and to get to this point where they are 5-1?
Well, the easy answer is just defense, playing together and playing hard on defense when they have to, and knowing how to just take over games when things get close. You look at the Memphis game, they were up 17. Honestly, I flicked away from the Memphis game because they were up 17 and there was a Jays game on. And then I clicked back and it was like a 4-point game and I was getting a little nervous. But then it's like, you know what? It's the Raptors against an 8 seed. They're going to take care of business. Now, the one thing I have seen is as nice as it's been for them to go 5-1, they did throw up a real stinker in that Boston game, which raises a whole lot of questions. A lot of people were saying that maybe they were intentionally throwing that game.
I think they did.
They definitely were playing with intensity, but some people were saying they were actually throwing the game, which I have an interesting theory about that, which is if you notice the one call that Nick Nurse challenged in that game, it was on a made bucket. So he challenged a foul on a made bucket. So the Raptors got 1 point out of it. It's like, okay, if you're really focused on the game, you're going to challenge something other than that. Anyway, so the Boston game was a bit of a throwaway. That's a bit of a tangent.
The Boston game, what I think, Skip, can I give you a theory on that Boston game?
Sure.
I think what they were doing was Boston buried them with the corner threes. That's pretty much how it was. I think that Nick Nurse was looking at it like, we can potentially face this team in the playoffs. Let's give them nothing to sit there and think about. At that point, they already clinched the 2 seed, right? Nothing is going to change from their end. And I think he just said, you know what? Let's give them nothing.
Yeah, I basically agree.
Thank you. Any other notable games for the last 6 games?
Well, I mean, everyone's going to focus on the Lakers game because that was a really good game. But I think more rather than focus on the specific bubble games, I mean, the Milwaukee game last night was a joke. I barely watched. I barely got through it because it was like no one was trying.
Giannis sat out. Lowry sat out. Van Vliet sat out. Ibaka sat out. And I sat because I knew exactly what the hell was going to go on.
Yeah, Matt Thomas going off, baby. Matty Ice.
You know my boy. You know how much I love that guy.
It's amazing. It's amazing what a summer league player can do when the team stop playing defense. Don't get me wrong, I love Matt Thomas, but the thing is, like, Matt Thomas is amazing in a game where people aren't playing a lot of defense. As soon as the defenses tighten up, Matt Thomas ends up being like a 2 minutes off the bench type of guy. Anyway, not to slander him, he had a great game, and Chris Boucher had a great game. No,
I think it was good. I think it was good for those young guys to actually get their confidence up, since they're going to be role players.
For sure.
Coming into the playoffs, I think it was really good for them to get their confidence up, for the big dogs to step out and let them take control, and they handled it. Thought it was absolutely beautiful, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I guess my overall takeaways, rather than focus on specific games, I just would say the Raptors look really good on defense. They look really good in terms of their teamwork, in terms of their top 7.
Ball movement.
But yeah, and Lowry and Van Vliet has shown out because he's coming up as a free agent next year, so he wanted to come to play. But I've been a little nervous about Pascal. He's gotten a little Russell Westbrook-y of late. Freudian slip right there. Just raining threes when he's still not really a 3-point shooter first and foremost. Kind of trying to hijack the offense sometimes. And I do get a little worried that they're going to be a little clanky in the playoffs when defenses tighten up, when it's, if you always have Van Vliet open for those corner threes above the break threes. But when it comes to running the offense through Pascal, if Pascal is guarded by, I don't know who's going to guard. Well, Giannis, but who's going to guard him in the Boston series? I guess Jaylen Brown. It'll be
Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart will have to split the load.
Yeah, so it'll be. I'm just a little worried about their offense. I think those are going to be grind 'em out games. I think they're going to be in them. I think they're going to be fun games. But Boston has a really good showing against the Raps this year, and I'm kind of starting to wonder. I mean, I want to think that the game the other night was a throwaway, but I'm starting to wonder, can the Raptors really show out against Boston? Because Boston can play small, right? Boston, like, they got Tice, and then everyone else is basically a wing. If you can't play like an Ibaka in that series, then who's the next man up? So
then the Raps could do what they did last night and just take control of the paint.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, if it gets into a really fast-paced defense first game, I don't know if you really want Ibaka in the middle of that. Gasol can always sort of hang out, but we'll see. It'll be a great series. But that's the one thing that I'm starting to see as a red flag that I think people are sort of brushing aside, that the Raptors might have some problems when the games get sticky. They might really have some trouble scoring. It's that whole superstar thing. It's that whole, if you don't have Kawhi, who do you go to?
We'll get to that when we come up with our playoff predictions, Skipper.
Yeah.
And speaking of the playoffs, since the Raps clinched the 2 seed, and there's really no movement in the East, who are they going to be playing, Skipper?
Well, it's funny. They're going to be playing the ghosts of the Brooklyn Nets. Coming in, we all thought Brooklyn was going to fall to 8th because they don't have anybody. But apparently Orlando's just as bad. So we get to play Brooklyn. That should be a fast, fun series. The Raptors will probably stick OG on Karis LeVert and not worry about anyone else on the team.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But I like that kid, Allen, the kid with I like him. He's a defensive presence.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good shot blocker. I don't know if he's a guy who can turn a playoff series on his own.
Nah, not on his own. But he'll be there. He can role play.
Yeah. So actually,
what?
Just on that note, I think the Raptors will take care of business fast. I think we'll probably see our first ever Raptors sweep because they've never swept a team in the playoffs.
That's what I was going to ask you. How far do you think that series can go?
I think the Nets might steal a game and push it to 5, but I really would love to see the Raptors just say, we can actually sweep a team because they've never swept a team. It's kind of
true.
A little embarrassing, to be honest. So there's that. And then speaking of Boston, the hope then is that Boston gets into a 7-game series with the Sixers or maybe the Pacers and really drags it out and tires themselves out.
We'll get in depth on this, guys, in a couple of days when we do our playoff bracket.
Yeah.
And we ask you guys to join in on what you think. Because Skip, what was I wrong on last year? 2 series and 2 games in the finals, right?
Yeah, you called it pretty well. You called the Raptors over the Bucks. I didn't even call the Raptors over the Bucks. So
I did.
Yeah.
Ain't no Raptors fan. So guys, we're gonna cover that for you in a couple days. Okay. We hope you guys enjoy this video and this little bit of commentary that the Skipper and I have to say. We haven't been around for a while, but it's playoff time, it's crunch time. We're crunching in. We're going to get in there. We're going to bite in. We want to know what you guys think. You guys make sure to click subscribe, like, leave your comments. Let us know how you feel. Go see right there, simonbroder.com, Amazon, find the book, Running the Point. You guys, I think you guys know where to find Skip, Dougie J's on Twitter. Banter with them all day. I would love to see it.
Yeah, it's a lot of baseball talk nowadays, but there's always some Raptors talk too. So follow my Twitter. Let's get this going, guys. Playoff time.
Yeah, it's crunch time, guys. We hope you can see you guys in a couple days. We hope you guys enjoy this. Skip, anything else you got to say?
Well, I think that's about it. I don't know if I got any parting shots. Yeah, I mean, Raps in 4 over the Nets. That's my call.
I say 5. But that's just my opinion. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, ladies and gentlemen, and
peace.